In a world where everyone and their brother has a podcast, one stands alone. It's been called one of the podcasts of all time. Welcome to Internet Killed the Video Store.
All right, we finally made it. It's like the final 3 episodes of this season. So we're going to recap the Year in Music 2023 today with our Year in Tears episode. Made it through 123 records. If you're not familiar with this, basically we just go through everything that we cataloged this year and put it in 5 different tiers: worst, bad, mid, good, or best. If you want a more detailed account, you can go to internetkilledthevideostore.com and read the whole thing. We'll probably just touch upon a fraction of it here. Yeah, I guess start at the bottom.
So bottom tier is the worst. What's our nickname for the bottom tier?
To make it even more confusing than it needs to be. It's not just the worst and bad. We come up with stupid names every year to signify how bad it is. So the worst tier this year is named the Fire Festivals. Just because we need to reinforce how terrible it was. Because apparently Billy McFarland's out of jail and selling tickets to Firefest 2.
Oh,
yeah. It's already sold out.
Yeah, there's a new one.
It's already sold out?
Allegedly. He's claiming that the first round of tickets have sold out. I don't know if it's been verified anywhere, but there are no performers announced, date, location, any of that stuff. Okay. So these are the Fire Festivals. And like always, like to preface it with, obviously, there's probably worse music out there. These are just the ones that we were intrigued enough to finish.
Right.
I did not get all the way through Andre 3000's Flute album or even all the way through the first song. So that didn't make the list. But we do have a first ever Years in Tears achievement for our friends and Just Friends, as they have become the first ever back-to-back Worst Album of the Year title holders. Champions.
You said you weren't going to do this, Ryan.
I did, but then I was going to blame you because you told me to give them a chance and see if they could redeem themselves, and they did not. It's worse.
Is it that bad?
It was the band you thought was a joke when we texted you the song.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Did you listen to it, Max?
I listened to like a couple songs. Yeah, it's pretty much them doing the same thing. And I give them credit. You know, they got a strong sense of what the band is.
They seem to be having fun. I mean, I'll give them that.
Thing, dude.
They enjoy it, even if no one listening does.
I feel like they've got to have some fans, right?
I would think somebody's out there in the circle pit of love.
I mean, you guys know who they are for a reason, right?
Just because they're on the same record label as Drug Church.
Oh, is that it?
That was why I checked them out initially, and I am still perplexed that they're on the same record label as Drug Church.
Have they put out a good album?
Well, this is their second one.
Oh,
I think they put out stuff before this, too.
Okay.
These are just the 2 that I've listened to, and so far, they're the worst 2 records that I listened to that
That's promising,
year.
Though. It can't get worse from here.
I thought that, but I think this one's worse than the last one.
I had stuff that I liked a lot less than this year.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah. When I listen to Just Friends, I don't know, man. It's like listening to Insane Clown Posse. Like, I can only be so mad at Just Friends.
Yeah,
that's kind of how it feels.
So that's
for me.
The metaphor. You can only be so mad because
it's so stupid.
Yeah, it's dumb, and it kind of. I mean, musically, it does kind of remind me of ICP. I think there's stuff that offended me way worse, but that's just me personally.
Last time you compared it to Rage Against the Machine, Kids Bop.
Yeah,
I think this.
I love that.
This time, I don't even know if I'd say it's that good, because at least that implies some kind of, I don't know, depth.
Mm-hmm.
Kids Bop has depth.
Rage Against the Machine has depth.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is more like Gen Z Smash Mouth covering 311. Like, this is very, very bad.
A lot of things I don't like.
A lot of white rap. A lot of
with 311 being the worst.
Cringy dance funk. Yeah, it's the worst. Luckily, we only have 4 records in the bottom tier here, so we won't spend a lot of time on them. I didn't want to be cruel and just drag Just Friends, but
sure,
it's not good. It's the worst.
Fair enough.
I noticed you did listen to Outcry by Never Ending Game.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember.
So we're in this weird like pendulum swing where everything was super poppy for like the last 5-6 years, and now there's this weird push towards like a hardcore revival, and I feel like they're the werewolf in between, where they have super sad boy lyrics with like tough guy Biohazard instrumentals.
Okay. I didn't listen to the lyrics so much with this band, but yeah, several thoughts really came to mind when I listened to this. And I didn't like, similar to the Just Friends thing, I wasn't angry listening to it. You know, I felt like a calm observer and that I could assess the situation with some clarity. Because like, you know, I grew up like listening to Hatebreed and like beat down hardcore bands. I'm not unfamiliar. Like and it seems like a pretty easy assignment, right?
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, they biffed it real hard. Pretty much every song will start with like a guitar riff, and I'm like, all right, decent. Drummer comes in just on a different page. I don't know what it is, but I've just never been so sure that like the drummer thought they were playing a different song or in a different kind of band. It just seems like they were giving him softballs, and it was just like coming with some, I don't know, typically like more creative beat than what you need in beat down hardcore, and that's what like just didn't make it work. And then there were times where, you know, heading into a breakdown, like they were actually pulling it off. I'm like, all right, I'm hyped up, I'm ready to go, like let's hear this. And then the breakdown would just biff real bad.
Sounds pretty cool.
Nah.
So that's 122. 121, we got Oh Monolith by Squid.
Yeah.
Which was like a bad Black Midi copycat with like a Pee Wee Herman vocalist.
That's interesting because I didn't listen to much of this, but that was like an early thought that came to mind.
Yeah.
I found this off the list. I didn't find it on my own. So I'm like, oh man, why does he dislike this so much? First 30 seconds, I'm like, why does he dislike this so much? This rips. I'm loving this. And then it just so quickly dove that I don't think I made it past like 3 songs.
Yeah, it's hard to get past the vocalist in and of itself. But then the instrumentals, like, will start off with something cool, and then they just do it for 8 minutes. Like, it just keeps going through the same grooves.
I was not a fan of the production either. It just like felt unnecessarily grimy to me.
Yeah, for sure. For something that intricate, you want to be able to hear everything going on, but it's a little messy.
It gave me a little anxiety about my own album that I released last year. I was like, oh man, maybe 10 instruments at the same time is too much.
All right, last one we got is from Kevin Abstract, Going Solo from Brockhampton. It is not a rap album. It is a weird, like, glitch pop bedroom rock album where he's like cosplaying as Jane Remover with the nothing mask on the album cover. It didn't work. I don't know why he decided to make this weird stylistic pivot, but
I don't know. I didn't need to hear this one, really.
Pretty bad. So that's the bottom. Those are the Fire Fests.
It's not bad that we only had 4 this year.
No,
it's like we only gave. Think of this as like grades, right?
Yeah.
That's like you got an F, all right? Which is like it might have been like a 59.
Yeah.
You know, we're not saying it was like a 10.
Yeah.
We're not Rotten Tomatoes.
Right. Even Just Friends got like in the 40s, probably.
Right.
Right. But we do have, like, I think this is the first year where the good is like the biggest tier. So I felt like that's a good accomplishment as well. We have a lot of really, really good music this year.
I feel that way.
So that's exciting. This next tier is not that. These are the bad but not terrible. You'll kind of force them down if you have to. If you don't have any other options, you'll take it. But nobody's first choice. These are the Three Musketeers. Start off with Citizen and their latest record at 119, Calling the Dogs. They've been doing a lot of weird stylistic changes, trying to like evolve their sound. It feels like they're like the C-level Title Fight or Brand New, where they're trying to change their sound every record, and it just hasn't worked. And for some reason, this record, they're like trying to emulate OK Go for some reason with this weird like garage rock sound.
Yeah.
And their hooks are not catchy enough to pull it off at all.
Dang.
I would agree with that. it's interesting for me because I have no relation to this band. This is my first time listening to Citizen.
Oh,
Really?
damn, really?
Yeah.
You would have liked Early Citizen, I think, dude.
Well, yeah, if both of you guys are into them, I should
Yeah.
probably check them
Youth
out.
is really good, and what's that other one? As You Please. Those are two really good records. It's just these last couple that have been really weird creative swings that don't connect.
I want to ask a question. What is Origami Angel? Like, what is the deal here?
I think they're like trying to be a pop punk band that like is ironically digging into mallcore metal. And this, yeah, I don't like it at all.
Have you listened to any of their other stuff?
I've listened to their last 3 records, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which aren't that bad, right? I listened to some of their other stuff, and I was like, all right, this is like decent Midwest emo. Not
Yeah.
that that's my thing,
Yeah.
but kind of like a hardcore Midwest emo that was like way better than this new album.
Yeah, this is like Beach Boys all-time low. Like, it doesn't make sense,
What
the
is-
weird combination.
What is going on with the lyrics and the vocals in general? Just like
Yeah,
super cringy stuff.
it's very strange. It was luckily only 22 minutes, though. That was the bright spot.
Yeah.
The last album was a double album, just full of mallcore breakdowns, so...
This was I think this was my least favorite of
Yeah,
the year.
of the
Yeah,
year?
I
Okay.
actively hated listening to it. So,
I'm sorry to
I
do that to you.
actively
No, it's
hated
okay.
listening to
Worse
it.
than Just Friends. It is not a Three Musketeer. You got anything on Zulu, or do you want to...
I mean, I want it to be good. Like I think this band is cool.
Yeah.
The whole like, let's get the white supremacy out of hardcore, I think is a great message.
Right.
But in the words of that Matrix character, not like this. Like this album, they're never playing for more than like 30 seconds at a time, and then there's just some fucking sample. And
There's 2 intros.
dude, there's like 7 intros. It never stops introing. That's not for me. And there's like actually a couple albums this year that I felt like were doing that kind of thing. And maybe I'm just a fucking out of touch millennial. And yeah, dude, I don't know. I want this band to be better because I think they sound cool when they're doing hardcore stuff. Both of the vocalists are interesting. I love that in general in hardcore. We talked recently about like 2 singers in pop punk bands and how great that is. Like any band, dude. The
Yeah.
Beatles,
Yeah.
right? Like we've been doing it all along. Keep doing it. But yeah, I want a little more. I want like a couple like full songs and stuff, and not just like diving into the like soul samples as much.
Yeah, it was very scattered. I think Soul Glow kind of did the same thing last year a little more effectively, but yeah, this was way too scattered for me. Depeche Mode was a bummer. We got that at 1:15.
Yeah.
They came out with a new album.
They did.
What didn't you like about this? Because I thought it was okay. And again, this is like a band I don't really have much of a relationship with. Obviously, I know Depeche Mode, but I'm not like a big fan. And I
Yeah.
was like, all right, kind of depressing, but cool.
Yeah, and like, yeah, it sounds redundant to call it like dreary, but there was just nothing really charismatic about it where I was excited about anything going on. And some of the lyrics were just really cringy. Like that whole stretch from Caroline's Monkey is Crying Again to Soul With Me. Like it was just a long 20 minutes. I couldn't do it. And I'm a big Depeche Mode fan.
I figured.
Are you really?
Yeah.
And I kind of thought, like, because their bassist / keyboardist just passed away, so I figured they were going to just go into greatest hits modes and just tour. So I was surprised that they even put out a new record, and this didn't really seem worth it to me.
As far as like some of the older bands on our list that are still doing stuff, do you think this was like at least a bit more ambitious than? I don't want to name what the other bands are, but
We'll get to them.
yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It doesn't, because I don't think it really strays too far from their recipe of what
Okay.
they've been doing. For me, it kind of just feels like, I don't know, reheated leftovers.
Okay.
Whereas, yeah, if we skip ahead, 6 spots to Metallica, they're at least trying some stuff.
Well,
They're
hang
at
on.
least trying stuff.
I don't want to totally skip over it. We should at least say something about Lana Del Rey.
Do we have to?
I mean, we just need to say that she's continuing the trend of the very kind of dour lounge singing.
Yeah.
This one's a little bigger. Like, I don't want to use the word epic just because it's like such a tired word.
Have a bigger scale to them.
That's sure. Let's just put it that way. But yeah, what do you think?
I've realized like she's one of those people I was excited about and like keep waiting to like hit their stride at some point, and then I'm like, oh yeah, it's been a decade and she hasn't done it. Like,
people seem psyched about this album, which was the other thing that I was kind of like, man, I don't know why it didn't work on me.
And it's something about like the delivery of like the really slow, sleepy vocals. I mean, she's got a great voice, but the weird juxtaposition of putting like trap beats and stuff like that into it just doesn't work. I don't like the whole stylistic clash there. And yeah, it was way too long for sure. The title's too long. What's
all right,
that?
Now Metallica.
Yeah, so Lana Del Rey's at 112, Metallica's at 111. Yeah, I mean the first 4 Metallica records are good enough that I'm probably always going to check out what they're doing, even though they haven't really put out a good record outside of Death Magnetic like since the new millennium.
See, that's kind of what I figured, and I started listening to this. I listened to one song and I was just like, I don't want to fucking listen to this. What am I doing? I'm not expecting this to be good. And it wasn't bad. I mean, compared to their good music,
right?
Not great.
No.
You know.
And yeah, these songs were way too long. Like, and I love, like I said, the first 4 Metallica records are great. They've got plenty of good long songs, but this just feels like a Pro Tools sessions full of riffs and like solos just stitched together and like, yep, that's a song. We got 7 minutes of material, dump it. Yeah, I wasn't a fan. There was a couple cool things like Sleepwalk My Life Away. The intro to that was cool, but then it just kind of just goes on and on and on.
Yeah.
But on the same trajectory they've been on for a bit, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So that's what, 111? What did you think of Agonal Hymns, Max?
So we talked about that a while ago. I think you sent me Agonal Hymns trying to figure out whether the drums were real or programmed.
Yeah, it sounds like a ping pong paddle.
Oh my God.
The whole thing has to be programmed, right? It sounds chaotic and insane.
It sounds gross. It sounds like...
Sounds gross.
It does. It's like, I can't tell if it is a double kick pedal or like a burp.
Yeah, the guitar tone sounds like a diesel tractor. Like, it's so messy.
It's really nasty. I'm not into it. Best of luck. Ben, you're killing me with that double click, bro. I can hear that.
This is the first time we've all been
Don't mess with that knob. What the fuck?
You can't even hear me now, can you?
That's a problem too, because you're gonna forget.
I muted my computer. I don't get why you can still hear my clicks.
This is why I moved to Chicago.
Yeah, this is the first time we've all been together for like a year, hasn't it?
Yeah.
It's a fucking nightmare.
Can I get another one of these if I can't double click?
Yeah.
Occupy my hands with your free beer. Thank you. What do we got? 105? Is that Janelle Monáe? I'd never listened to a full Janelle Monáe record, so this was my first time. Got nominated for Best Album at the Grammys, I saw, which was surprising.
Yeah, that is surprising.
She's, I think, a much better actress, in my opinion, at least at this point. Her voice is great.
Yeah.
I just wish she didn't try to rap.
I've heard other music from her that I like better than this.
Yeah.
But this was my first big Janelle Monáe dive in. And, man, I don't like it. It's, as far as her, I was a little surprised at how, like, party lifestyle stuff it is.
Yeah. She seems a little more intellectual to just be this horny.
That's
for a whole record.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. And the music is not my thing. I just picture like a bad movie about like middle class Americans on vacation.
Yeah, it seems like a bad like background music of like an Elvis movie in the 60s, like where he's on a beach vacation.
I feel like it's what the Cherry Poppin Daddies are listening to right now.
Like it's Cherry Poppin Daddies.
Yeah, I know. And it's like
You know them?
It's their favorite album of the year, dude. Yeah, Zoot Suit Riot. Right?
Maybe. I don't know. I might know someone who listens to them, and it's
Really?
like nothing like I can see you listen to.
Everybody knows Cherry Poppin Daddies.
For real?
They're a cultural landmark. Zoot Suit Riot.
Yeah. That's
Zoot Suit Riot.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. I didn't know that was them.
What other Cherry Poppin Daddies
I
song
don't know.
is there? That is the
Haley's
song.
stepdad listens to them, and like Joe Bonamassa, like that's the only two things he listens to.
It's like, yeah, you guys know Chumbawamba? No, I've never heard Tub Thumping. What's that? Like, that's the Cherry Poppin Daddies song. What do you mean?
Okay, I don't know, dude. What's that Chumbawamba song called? I've never known the name. I know what song you're talking
Look
about.
it up.
All right, hold on.
We don't need to do this.
There's gonna be a couple double clicks coming your way though, Max.
While you look that up, what did you think of Killer Mike's record, Max?
I enjoyed it.
You liked it?
Yeah, I actually did. I listened to this yesterday for the first time as I was driving out of Chicago.
Yeah.
Which, to be fair, like,
Sets the mood.
it sets the mood when you're at that point of like, all right, let's go. You know,
Yeah.
I don't have shit to do for the next week. I'm hopping in the car. I'm hyped. And then you put on something that like gets you hyped up. Like, you're bound to give it a better grade than you might have at another point. So that's kind of how I came into this. Also, hip hop just sounds better in Chicago when you're driving around.
In a city.
It just does. So I was pretty into it. I thought the production was pretty great. I mean, it's like doing like kind of basic trap stuff rhythm wise, but it's not flashy and it's not like flappy bass trap. You know what I mean? Where it's just like a bit too much. Everything feels like very tight and controlled.
Yeah.
And the bass is there, but it's not just like outrageous. I love that. And good use of like samples mixed in with that. It felt like kind of a convergence of, you know, 90s sample based hip hop with like trap beats, which I thought was really cool. I love Killer Mike's voice too. Like,
Yeah.
I just like Killer Mike. I'll listen to an album just to hear him say shit.
Right.
However many times he's gonna do that. Again, it is kind of like lyrically like a little less intellectual from Killer Mike than what I would have expected. Kind of like the same we were saying about Janelle Monáe.
Yeah.
Which is like, I don't know. I'm also okay with that, I think, because I don't always need Killer Mike to be the guy that shows up on like Bill Maher and
Right.
knows what he's talking about or whatever. And he also like gets pretty deep into some stuff on the album, and I appreciated that stuff too. But yeah, what didn't work about it for you?
I think I was, a little more hung up on the lyrical stuff. I was hoping for a little more depth there, especially given the recent stuff he's done on Run the Jewels. I think I've always kind of viewed that as like, yeah, this is Killer Mike and this white dude is tagging along.
Right.
And then when I heard LP show up here, that was like my favorite track on the record. I'm like,
That one was
okay,
good.
I need to give him his credit.
Yeah, he's pretty great.
I'm
Yeah.
undercutting the white dude rapping when he's actually good. He's pulling his weight.
You always do this with the two-person rap groups. You're just like, what is this other guy doing
Yeah,
here?
he doesn't. We just need the one guy. This other guy's just tagging along.
Right.
But it was much more biographical, which I think I wasn't necessarily looking for.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Some of it just felt a little dated. I felt like it felt
I
like
would agree with that.
a record from the 2000s
Yeah.
where I was hoping for something a little more contemporary.
Yeah.
But
It felt like a bit of a throwback.
yeah. Is that already all the bad albums? Is there any other bad ones we want to talk about? Three Musketeers?
The new Green Day album.
That hasn't come out yet. That's next year.
I bet it's bad though.
Ben's calling his shot.
I bet it's fucking awful.
Last episode, you were saying, I want new Green Day. I know he's got another record in him. You're already undercutting his new shit?
Yeah, I want it, but I don't want it to be bad. I had hope it could be good.
What if these are just the two bad singles, like Blink, and the rest of the record's not terrible?
That'd be sick. Yeah, that'd be cool.
You just don't think it's going to happen.
No. I remember when they made a comment when they made, I think it was the album after Uno Dos Tres. They were like, we're going back to our roots. We're going to like strip it down again. I was
They
like,
always
it's a
say
bad
that
sign.
shit.
I'm like, yeah, we're going to get fucking Dookie. And then I watched him in an interview making fun of people. He was like, make Dookie again. Mocking the
Yeah,
fans that
right.
said that. I was like, okay, so it's not going to be another Dookie. It was stripped down like, almost like glam rock.
I mean,
I don't know.
I think it's scary enough when people say that with any seriousness, like especially 10 years or so into a music career, and they're like, we're going back to our roots. it never goes well.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
like maybe sometimes, but I can't think of a time where I've been like, oh yeah.
Well, we were just talking about the first single. What is it? The American Dream Is Killing Me.
Mm-hmm.
And like, how many platinum records does Billy Joe have now? Like, what does he know about like being working class,
Right.
middle American at this point?
Right.
Like 40 years ago, maybe.
Right.
Like his mom.
It actually seems like it worked out pretty well for him.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Like, is there ever a
Shut the fuck up, dude.
is there ever a punk band who's just like, yeah, I'm rich now, and like writes songs about that, or they're always just like, the struggle, man, we're with you.
Yeah.
And the struggle songs for him have gotten like cheesier and cheesier.
Yeah.
At least in the
you
beginning.
can tell they're phony.
They're
Like,
phony
it
as
sounds like
fuck.
a musical about
Exactly.
oppression. It doesn't
does,
sound
dude.
like
Yeah.
somebody living day to day.
No, like where Dookie was straight up like teenage boredom. And
Right.
when they first did that record deal, they talked about how they had rent for a few months and they were able to actually get extra burritos to eat off of.
Right.
They're like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's just hope Just Friends doesn't put an album next year.
Yeah. Do we listen to another Just Friends album at this point? Do we just let them off the hook?
Man, I don't
Back to
know.
back is pretty legendary, but now it's like, do we go for 3?
I think we got to keep checking.
We got to
in.
keep going.
Yeah.
We got to keep checking in.
I'm always going to give them a fair shake, though.
I thought about, like, do I just seek out something that I think will be worse? Like, Young Thug put out a record from jail. That's probably worse than Just Friends, but then it just seems
How'd they
too
let him-
intentional.
How'd they
Yeah,
let him do that?
I don't know. I never know how the jail records work.
So there's more.
You got a window. You just set up outside. of
Just
that.
record through the phone on his
But there's
prison
several
visits.
jail records out there. Like there's
There are.
that's people
some-
have recorded
I mean,
in
some
jail.
people go to like nice jail.
So is that all the bad albums? Did we flesh that out?
Yeah, we got it.
Ben
out of our
predicting that
system.
Green Day's going to be bad for next year. We'll
Yeah.
book that.
It's gonna be awful.
Okay, so we're going to the middle tier. These are decent albums. They're not anything to write home about, but, you know, they're inoffensive. They're the Kenan Thompsons. Did you realize he's been on Saturday Night Live for 20 years?
I didn't. I would have
Wow.
guessed like 12.
Longest SNL alum ever.
Really
21 years.
longer than Bobby Moynihan, huh?
Yeah, I think
fuck is
next
that?
is Daryl Hammond. I think they said it was 14
Yeah.
years. But yeah.
Damn.
So what do we want to talk about in the Kenan Thompsons?
Let's start at the bottom.
You got a group there. Yeah,
Yeah.
you got highlighted.
Can you first like talk about what made you call this the Kenan Thompson group?
Because they're very average and unremarkable.
Okay.
But they're fine. Like, I don't
Yeah.
begrudge Kenan Thompson. He's
Right.
great. It's cool
fun.
to see him doing stuff. But,
Yeah.
like, what's the funniest Kenan Thompson bit you've ever seen?
right.
There's one with David Pumpkins.
No, that's the Tom Hanks bit.
Yeah, but he's in it.
See, I didn't even remember that. That's
He's the
exactly-
elevator attendant. Yeah.
He's the elevator attendant. That's
Yeah.
exactly why this is the middle tier.
All right, so yeah, Heimdall by Enslaved,
Yeah.
the Norwegian metal band, right?
Yeah, yep.
Norwegian.
97. We got him down there.
Yeah. I don't know. It feels kind of like, and maybe I'm not well versed enough in like this specific brand of like European metal, but at times it felt like kind of an Opeth ripoff to me, who's a band I like a lot more than this.
Yeah.
There were other times where it felt like doing a black metal thing, but not doing it very well. I don't know if they were a black metal band in the past. Have you listened to much of this band before?
I've like checked in here and there. They've been
Yeah.
around for like 30 years now, so
Oh, wow.
I've not
I mean,
kept
there's
with
some,
the whole run. But
there's some interesting stuff.
yeah,
It just felt like just a hodgepodge of things.
the acoustic stuff was where it lost me. That was
Really?
kind of drug out. That was where I checked out. I liked
Mm-hmm.
the cool Children of Bodom synth hits. That was cool.
There
Yeah.
was some cool synth stuff. I appreciate the synth. It sounds like they probably have someone in their band playing synth.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, but there were other times where it was like very unnecessary
Yeah.
synth stuff.
Yeah.
So I mean that's a trap you can fall into as well. But yeah, I guess I don't have a ton to say about them. I love prog metal. It is so hard to find good prog metal bands.
Yeah.
I mean, there was like Intronaut, who isn't really good anymore now that Danny Walker's not in the band. Not that I'm advocating for Danny Walker to be in the band again, but anyways,
I feel like, can I make an observation?
yeah.
So we have like, I would say like 5 pieces of pie we usually draw from like
Mm-hmm.
electronic, punk, indie, hip hop, and like metal hardcore.
I feel like you threw a lot into indie there just now, but like, yeah.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, like,
there could be a lot that would go into indie, but that's a pretty broad.
I feel like a lot would go into that, but
right.
It's fair. We don't need a subgenre.
But what I was gonna say is, I feel like I would most identify the music that you've made in your past with like the hardcore metal, and I feel like I've noticed when we talk about stuff, you're like more harsh on that style of music than anything else. I don't know if it's because you've listened to so much where you're like, I've heard this before, like I need you guys to bring a little more.
Very particular in what I want. Yeah. That's fair. That's absolutely fair.
But also,
I'm glad you pointed that out. I feel like anyone listening to the show should know our biases that we have in that way. So.
Well, I think objectively though, like if we look at this list and we talked a little bit about like the overall trends as like there's this attempted hardcore resurgence going on. I don't think much of it is very good. Like I don't think we have too much in the top 2 tiers.
No. Yeah.
It's a lot of recycled stuff. It feels like they're in a stylistic rut where there's not an evolution of the sound right now.
I didn't realize there was a resurgence.
I think
a lot of DIY bands. Yeah.
We're in a heavier music phase right now in general. You know, like pop is heavier. There's pop stars playing grunge songs now, you know, and like the average person I meet is more willing to check out heavier stuff. Average young people, I should say,
which is cool.
But it is.
It's
cool
really
as fuck.
cool.
Yeah.
I mean, if that's a good thing to come out of it, maybe it's a stepping stone for the right person to make something that's different.
Right.
So I did check out this Wednesday record because I've been hearing stuff about that.
Yeah.
What do you think about this?
So I came into this really ass backwards, where everybody was kind of hyped on Wednesday, like the record before this.
Yeah.
And then their guitarist, MJ Lenderman, put out a solo record last year. And that was the first thing I listened to. Okay. And I was like, oh, this is pretty good. And then I checked out this Wednesday record this year, and I'm like, man, I wish it was more like the MJ Lenderman record.
Gotcha.
It's a little, I get being like unconventional about your songwriting structure and doing things a little atypical, but this just feels like there's not any structure at all to me. Like it's just a sound bed of instruments, and then the song stops when the singer runs out of words to say.
Yeah, that actually maybe contextualizes it in a way that I was trying to figure out what bothered me about this. To put it more simply, I liked the first 2 songs, and then I stopped liking what was going on after that for the most part, because I do think those first couple are really great. I think it's the second song where the singer is basically just having this like big emotional release for the last like minute or 2 of the song, which like could go really wrong, but it definitely worked for me, and I was excited by that to explore what else this had to offer. And then I just felt like I didn't get back to those highs that I'd experienced early on in the record. It didn't get as deep or emotional or as dynamic as that. Like it just didn't check any of those boxes again. And yeah, there's songs that just felt incomplete. Sometimes they kind of dip more into like a indie pop rock type thing that there's so much of that now. Like I don't need this band to do that. I like the grungier, emo stuff, super emo stuff. So, but I'm definitely going to be checking them out from now on.
Yeah, for sure. 95, we've got the new Fucked Up record.
Yeah.
One Day.
Do you have good?
It's 95.
Out of what?
123.
Oh,
it's mid. It's Keenan Thompson.
So you guys are fans of this band?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have been in the past. This, it felt kind of like a stylistic retreat a little bit, where it's playing it a little safe. They're really pretty experimental in most of their stuff, and this feels like they're trying way too hard to be like pop rocky for me.
Interesting. The funny thing, I don't know if you read anything about this record, but it's named One Day because they wrote all the songs in one day.
Oh, that's cool.
That tracks.
As opposed to apparently they typically take a very long time and are very meticulous about constructing a record. So this is like really my first time listening to a whole fucked up album.
Yeah.
And this is another one where like the first song I was like, I think I'm gonna dig this, and then it just fell off very quickly with oversaturated, like harmonized guitar stuff going on.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of that. I also read that it was just one guitarist.
Oh, really?
That just like layered a bunch of different stuff, which I feel like I could kind of hear that.
Yeah.
I feel like it did feel like someone maybe a little too much in their own way of doing things and maybe needed someone else to balance them out. But yeah, some of that stuff was just too sweet sounding for me. And speaking of sweetness, there's like someone that does backup vocals in this band, or maybe a couple people that do these really like clean vocals that just does not mesh with the lead singer for me at all, who's doing like this raspy punk thing.
The balance here is way out of whack.
Yeah.
They've pulled it off in the past a lot more successfully. This feels like they're trying to force the choruses just so hard, and they're like so clunky. Like, what is that? I Think I Might Be Weird, that second song. They're just force feeding that so hard. It just doesn't fit.
Yeah, maybe All in One Day was not the way to go, because he had some good parts there, but it didn't quite come together.
We talked a little bit about Queens of the Stone Age.
Yeah.
Got that at 92, 93.
I got to hear some of these songs at Riot Fest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounded good live.
It did.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think it fit pretty well with their set.
Yeah.
But I was thankful that they still play stuff off, like, Songs for the Deaf.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, for sure.
So.
92, we got Heart Attack Man. That was a big letdown after... Fake Blood was one of our favorite records from 2019. Yeah, a lot of weird talk verses. Got some bad Machine Gun Kelly vibes. Pretty big letdown. That was a bummer. 91, we got King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard.
Yeah.
Their 50th record in the past 4 months. I was excited because it looked like, I mean, what's the album called? It's fucking... Petro-Dragonic Apocalypse, or Dawn of Eternal Night and Annihilation of Planet Earth and the Beginning of the Merciless Damnation.
Yeah,
so that sounds like it's just going to be insane, face-crushing metal, kind of like Infest the Rat's Nest, which is like my favorite one of their records.
And it is like, I think, a follow-up to that.
Yeah.
Not specifically, but just in many ways.
Yeah. It was a little too proggy for me, I think.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I wanted it more concise, more refined, where the songs was like, okay, I like this.
Yeah.
And then the song like doubled in length.
Yeah.
And some of the like just vocal placement was weird too for me, where it just didn't really match the music.
The vocals in general are what don't work for me about Metal King Gizzard.
Yeah.
It's like that James Hetfield just like monotone note.
Yeah.
Barely ever doing any melody. If you're not going to do any melody, you need to go a bit harder at times.
It's very Rob Zombie.
Yeah, that's yeah, it is for sure.
But it works on Infest the Rat's Nest. I like it.
It works
there.
better on that. It definitely does.
When everybody's so intricate with their instrumentation and your vocalist is just hitting the same thing again and again.
Well, and on this, I felt like in general, everyone, like the guitars are just hitting the root note so much.
Yeah.
It's so much chugginess. And it's interesting that you didn't like the prog stuff. Like I could have used more prog stuff. I felt like the prog stuff that was there was just like didn't see hand drums coming, you know.
Yeah.
And then like hence 3 minutes of a hand drum breakdown.
It's like a cameo gimmick.
So yeah, I like this band and I like the stuff they do. I think they're cool as fuck. And I think it's cool that they can just like dip into the metal stuff and do like a very good job of it, honestly. But it just, there you go again. Like I'm probably like way harsher on it because I'm just like, I know what metal's supposed to sound like.
Well, and with them specifically, like you have a good body of work to look for, whether it's, you know, Murder of the Universe or like they've made better versions of this record, I feel like. And they did put out another album that I never got to. It was like a double synth record. Did you see that?
We don't do doubles.
Yeah, it was long. Okay, what do we go to? That's 91.
We've talked about a couple of these.
Yeah, we did Genesis Owusu. That was kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
88, M83.
What do you think of the? Let's stop on M83 really quick.
Yeah.
What was the issue there for you?
Them, I just feel like it's one of those things where they put out their best record so early that it's just hard to get out of that shadow, man.
Yeah.
Like they're still trying to follow up, Hurry Up, We're Dreaming,
and this was a very clear, intentional. We're going back to our roots.
Yeah,
we're doing that album again.
This is like we've been tiptoeing around trying to follow that up for a decade now. Now we're gonna do it, and it's like,
well, it's interesting, kind of coming off of Junk, which was like, fuck that, like we're doing our own thing, and I didn't particularly like Junk.
Yeah,
there are some songs on it that I do love, but I appreciate that mentality a bit more than just like. It's interesting though. I think I might have read this in an article, and it was very well put, where it was like this band has always been nostalgic for other sounds and other time periods.
Yeah.
Now they've been around long enough to be nostalgic for their own record.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's kind of what happened, I think. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's long too, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I got bored listening to this.
Yeah, once I got to the title track, which is like 8 of 15 songs, I was pretty good. I was like, this feels like the climax. Anything after that didn't really register with me too much. But I mean, it wasn't terrible. Like I said, it's Keenan. Speaking of not terrible, I had to listen to the new Lucero record twice because I just like, it confounded me that I didn't hate it. It's like, this is actually like passable music for once. I don't think they've done that in a long time.
I'm not very familiar with Lucero. Are you, Ben?
I don't like them.
You don't like them? What is it?
It's like DIY punk country.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And they like peaked in like 2005 probably.
I've never.
It's been a
been
minute.
a fan.
But I like that stuff, like their early stuff. That Much Further West was really cool. They were pretty popular in like the whole Gainesville punk scene. They toured with Against Me and played with like Chuck Reagan, Hot Water Music and stuff like that. But it was like they started out as like, hey, like we're like country but good, and then it kind of morphed into no, they're just kind of like a regular old country band now.
But they like. The voices were gritty and like they yelled. And...
Yeah, he's definitely beat the shit out of his voice at this point. It's something hard to sustain, obviously. So, but I think this record's not bad though.
Cool. We kind of are at a point where it's not enough to just be country but not bad.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
There are a lot of people being country but not bad.
Yeah,
now.
we've gotten to that point.
We've got some on the list.
Zach, dude, I've been listening to a lot of Zach Bryan, man.
Yeah. He might be in here. You just wait.
Fucking shit's good, dude.
Arm & Hammer. We got our first Billy Woods sighting.
Yeah.
Which is always just a yearly staple in the list. He's down here at 71.
It's weird, dude.
Yeah.
But I guess people can't say that you're a stan because...
No, I mean, yeah, I like his solo stuff more than Arm & Hammer traditionally.
Yeah. Right. I did really like the... JPEG Mafia produced stuff on here. That was pretty sick.
That was the one where I was like, we need a Scare in the Hammer, Arm in the Hose. Dude. However we can get these 4 people together, that would be incredible.
Billy Woods and JPEG Mafia, doing a whole album together. Yeah. Could be pretty darn interesting.
That would be stellar. This record, like, it was fine. Again, it's in the mid. It just felt like a big house party where like random people show up, you know.
I could have used like a bit more meat on the bone. I think there's a lot of kind of just drifting into like songs just end kind of how they end, right? Just with like some spoken word stuff, which is like not uncommon for any project that Billy Woods is involved with, but I like whole songs, you know.
Yeah, it felt like a lot of weird like intermediate stuff where it didn't have like a big staple or takeaways.
Yeah.
So that's 71. 70, we got Zach Bryan, self-titled Zach Bryan.
Let's go. That's so good.
You like it?
Yeah, I like it a lot, yeah.
See, I think my hopes got like set way too high because the whole hype around it was like, this is the guy that's going to save country. And I listened to it and like, this sounds way more like Bob Dylan-y, like folk music than country to me. Like I wanted the fiddles, I wanted the steel guitar.
It ain't fucking bluegrass, no.
No, it's not that at all.
No.
And so, yeah, the first time I listened to it, I got like 6 tracks in, and I'm like, oh, I'm 6 tracks in. I don't like this at all. But then I circled back to it. I'm like, okay, I see what's here. It's just not what I'm looking for.
It's pretty much like singer-songwriter. Like,
yeah, for sure.
it's a lot more like vulnerable and honest than most country music.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For sure. It's a step in the right direction. He didn't fully take our country back, but he's on the way.
Oliver Anthony. Have you listened to his other stuff besides that one song?
No,
Oh, dude, his song like "I Want to Get Sober" and other shit is super good.
You're still big on that guy?
Yeah. I mean, like I don't listen to him every day or anything like that, but his other shit besides that song that blew up is like pretty honest and like depressing, and I don't know. I respect it.
I was hoping he was going to put out a record, but it's just a bunch of singles right now.
Yeah.
He's like the white trash Lil Nas X. What do we got? 61's The Menzingers. Pretty decent. The first 2 tracks were really good. A couple of really good singles. Was that Hope is a Dangerous Thing and There's No Place in the World for Me. But yeah, after that, falls off pretty hard. Kind of just starts to feel like typical Bruce Springsteen punk cosplay, which Gaslight Anthem's already been there and kind of covered that terrain pretty thoroughly. So
Very thoroughly.
But yeah, those first 2 tracks are really, really good. It's probably one of the better Menzingers records I've heard in a while. So
Cool.
That was tight. Are you familiar with Swans at all? Did you
No.
listen to that? They've been around forever. This was allegedly like their last record. And it's this weird, like, ceremonial funeral album, and there's like a 15-minute song or something crazy in the middle of it.
Yeah, this is 2 hours long, 11 songs.
It's massive. It's
2 discs so that they could fit this 43-minute song.
Yeah,
on
the
here.
43-minute song feels like it's one of the weird episodes of season 3 from Twin Peaks. Like there's weird factory noises and screaming and chanting. Like it's pretty wild. Like it's interesting, but it's not something I'm probably ever gonna listen to again.
What's the longest song that works for you guys?
Longest song.
Jesus of Suburbia.
How long's that one?
9 minutes, some odd seconds.
I don't know if I have a specific one.
Yours is yours not like a Between the Buried and Me song?
It's got to be a Between the Buried and Me song. That's what I was gonna say. I mean, Master of Puppets 8.5 minutes. That's pretty great. What's your threshold, Max?
Well, it's longer than that for sure.
It's longer than that.
Yeah, I mean, going back to the prog stuff that I like so much.
Right. Yeah.
I thought it was Close to the Edge by Yes, but that's only 18 minutes. Come on.
Yeah.
It would be, I think, Echoes by Pink Floyd off the Metal EP. It's 23.5 minutes long, and I'm captivated the whole fucking time every time I listen to it. So
I don't think I have anything eclipsing 20 minutes.
Yeah.
The longest Between the Buried and Me I can find right now that I like is like 14.
Okay.
White
That's
Walls.
good. Yeah. There's an Intronaut that's around 10 that I also really like, but it's hard to pull off, you know.
Yeah. Right. At some point, it just feels like you're stringing together multiple songs.
It can.
It's hard to get it all cohesive.
For sure. Yeah.
I don't know if I would count the Swans song as that, the 43-minute sonic experience, but it's
No.
like I said, it's
I don't even know it, but no.
interesting. There's some weird spoken word, string section going backwards, and then a random kid singing "Knick Knack Paddywhack, Give a Dog a Bone." Like they just throw everything in there.
So-
I mean, yeah.
Is it broken up or does it?
Nope, it's one track.
Say does it flow though? Does it flow?
I mean, it just keeps going. It doesn't really like organically go together. They just keep happening.
The stuff you mentioned just seems like it would be like sketch comedy parody of what a 43-minute
Yeah.
Like a
song
really
is.
pretentious art rock band.
Right.
Yeah, that's what this is.
Okay. Let's move on.
Yeah. 59, we got Jess Williamson. You really like this album.
Yeah, I do.
The first time I listened to it, I thought she was like performing the accent on the
Really?
first track. Yeah. Because
Is she?
I don't know. She's from Texas, so like it begs to reason that she probably isn't, but
Maybe she's like putting it on a little bit.
Yeah.
It is strong.
it
It's-
feels more subdued though as the record goes on. I feel
Okay.
like it really hits you on that first track. That's really my only gripe with it. Other than that, it's pretty solid. I like it.
I love it. I mean, I was off of country for a long time, but yeah, as I've been saying, I think, a couple times in this episode, there's been some good country this year. Maybe I've just been sleeping on it, but Jess Williamson, yeah, I liked it a lot.
So more than a Keenan.
For me,
as
yeah.
more of a Kel.
Yeah. It's like the opposite of my metal thing. I don't listen to any country, so
yeah.
you show me some good country, and I'm like,
woo!
You guys ever listen to Whiskey Meadows?
No.
You guys listen to Chris Stapleton?
No.
But you know who Chris Stapleton is?
I've heard the name, but
damn, dude.
Is he the guy from The Voice?
No, he did the national anthem last year.
Is he the guy from Staples?
On the Super Bowl.
Store?
No. You ever heard the song Tennessee Whiskey?
The Staples Center, is that him?
Yep. Named after him like 30 years ago before he was big.
Wait, you said Chris? Chris Hemsworth?
Yeah, fucking Thor.
The Star Trek guy.
Star Trek guy, yeah.
Okay.
Parks and Rec?
Captain America. Wait, what's his name though?
We're getting sidetracked.
Chris Evans.
Anytime Ben talks, we get sidetracked.
Yeah. Did you know we were doing like the 2023 review? Or you just like bringing up, hey, I listened to this today.
Both. I knew this was happening, and I knew I want to contribute. So I contribute where I can, even if it's non-consensual.
I don't think that's what that means.
Yeah, my comments are not consensual from your perspective.
No, it's
right?
No.
Unwarranted? Is that better?
Unsolicited.
Unsolicited.
Okay.
There we go.
But like those things are kind of synonymous in a sense.
I don't want to try to unpack that right now. What are we at?
57. Military gun. Life under the gun. Did anyone listen to this?
No.
I listened to his verse and fucking MS Paint. He's in an MS Paint song.
Is he?
Yeah.
Nice.
He is, yeah. The name was too similar to Machine Gun Kelly. I thought it was the same thing.
All right, well, moving on. Rat Boys.
What do you want to
What's
say?
your review of him?
I don't want to just sit here and talk about something you guys have never heard. That's not fun.
I just talked about Chris Stapleton for a minute.
I do know him from the song he was featured on that Ben just said.
I feel like this is
MS Paint.
another werewolf where they like want to be hardcore but they're writing pop songs and it's like just caught in between. And sometimes it works, but most of the time it's kind of just average. Like it's not aggressive enough to be a good hardcore record, but it's not poppy enough to be a good pop record.
Okay.
So
people that need to listen to hardcore for longer before they get it down, is that
yeah, this is like your gateway drug into aggressive music.
Yeah.
Rat Boys.
Yeah.
Was this your first Rat Boys record?
Mm-hmm.
54?
Yeah.
Okay, The Window. What did you think of Rat Boys?
I think it's cool.
Yeah.
Again, it's kind of like
Sounds bad.
It's got some twangy country stuff going on, but
the Rap
I don't know.
Boys.
Rat.
Oh,
Boys.
that makes more
I think
sense.
this is a Chicago band.
Yeah, I think they're from like the corner of Indiana, but they claim Chicago.
That's what everyone from
That's
the
what
corner of
everybody-
Indiana
yeah,
does.
That's
Yeah.
what
Freddie
Abe
Gibbs.
Lincoln fucking did too.
That's what
son
I've
of a bitch.
learned. He said he was from Chicago?
He said he was from Illinois when he was from Indiana.
Dude.
Was he? I thought he just like lived here for a bit.
He did. We say Indiana, Lincoln's boyhood home.
Right.
He lived here for such a short amount of time. But he claims Illinois.
Yeah.
We try to claim him.
But no, I was into this. I'd been hearing stuff about it,
Yeah.
and it held up to the hype, which is
Yeah.
kind of nice. Like, I was ready to not like it as much as what I'd been led to believe I would.
In their country.
Indie country.
Yeah. There's so many people throwing elements of country in now that it's like hard to say.
Yeah.
You know, there was
for
a
sure.
lot of stuff on this list that's like just 4 songs into the record, all of a sudden you're getting real twangy and you're like, all right, I thought this was a grunge band. but
Right.
Okay. This. At least when Rat Boys did it, I thought it was cool. I liked kind of the different territory that they explored on this record. So, and I like the singer. I could see how maybe some people wouldn't. Like it's a specific thing, but she sounds very, very nice.
Well, if there's any genre that needed an enlightenment,
Right.
like was it not country?
For sure.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is pretty fucking cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's been like 20 years.
At least. I think
Yeah.
country died when Garth Brooks changed to Chris Gaines, right? Is that the mark of delineation?
Maybe Garth Brooks is good.
Was
man.
it Shania Twain? Dixie
Oh,
Chicks?
No, I think, like post Garth Brooks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A dark.
No, I think the fact that I was into Rat Boys earlier stuff like painted why it's in the mid tier and not higher up, because I think I like their rock stuff a little more.
Yeah.
So the fact that this was all pretty slow, I think maybe we got like 1 or 2 faster paced songs on this record, but
not really like punk fast paced though.
Right. Yeah. Their previous 2 records were a lot more in that lane, and that was the stuff I was starting to dig. So to see them kind of veer away from that was a little bit of a bummer, but yeah, it's still good. It's like the highest mid we have, I think, or second highest.
Yeah.
54. Yeah.
Pretty good.
That's good. Let's dive into the good. That's our biggest tier.
Here we go.
These are the good but not great. 1990s Atlanta Braves won a shit ton of games, went to 4 World Series, but they're not really like a dynasty because they only won 1 championship. So that's why these are the really, really good but not best.
Yep.
We've got 40 of these. So yeah, like I said, a lot of really good music this year. We want to start with Boy Genius. We talked about super groups so much,
but we didn't really like review the album.
No,
I don't think.
We just talked about the build up to it and then just ignored it. We're good at that.
Dude, yeah, we are. I love this record.
Yeah.
I really like, I mean, it really got to me emotionally. Just the sheer beauty of it, not even lyrically. Yeah, the melodies alone. I mean, it's not since like Crosby, Stills, and Nash that I've been like, holy shit, these people sound so good together.
Yeah.
Like that first song blew me away when it's just like the 3 of them singing together.
Yeah,
I was just primed for a good record. And it did pretty much everything I wanted, except in a perfect world, this album would have had like some more points where it really just amped up. I would like some more highs like that, some more dynamicism. Even though I think the record is dynamic, it just doesn't go to the highest point that I want it to go to. It goes soft and it goes mid, but I want it to go like just hard as fuck sometimes.
Right. Get it in the red.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I think that was my takeaway, is like, I felt like they were most interesting to me when they were a rock band. On $20 or Satanist, those are my 2 favorite tracks.
Yeah, Satanist is sick.
That really stood out.
Yeah.
And this is another one where I think like my previous exposure to these 3 songwriters like kind of tainted my experience with it. Like kind of like we talked about with super groups. You go into it expecting to get all the boxes checked from each artist, and that's just not possible. There's only one person that's going to sing. There's only like so much you can do with it, where I think I was wanting a little more feeling of collaboration, where it kind of just felt to me, especially on the softer songs, like it was just a Phoebe Bridgers record with special guests.
Okay.
There's a couple songs where like Julian Baker gets to drive, but yeah, I think I was just wanting a little more balanced. But like you said, as it is, it's really good. I was stoked they got some Grammy nominations too. I think they're nominated for Best Album, so that's tight.
Yeah, they're cool as hell. I hope they keep doing stuff together.
Yeah, all 3 of them are great. Their solo stuff's good, so it was cool to see them pull it off. There was a lot of hype around it, so
yeah, it held up.
Yeah,
it held up.
We already talked about Cavell Tuck. We got that at 47. Returning to their roots. I didn't mind that one as much.
No, you don't.
We got Blink at 43. Is that too high for you?
No, I like
pretty
it.
High.
I like it better than the last time we talked about it.
Yeah, it's grown on you a little bit.
It's grown on me a little bit. There's like several songs, like pretty much the ones that you guys mentioned, like More Than You Know and Terrified, and
Terrified is good.
Yeah,
Bad News has been the one I keep going back to. Also, that one's pretty tight.
Turpentine, I think I liked.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
Good. Terrified.
Yeah, but here's the thing, dude. When you do that and then you throw a song like Blink Wave on there, and expect me to not make fun of you,
oh yeah, there's some big
thinking?
misses.
Blink
for
Wave's
sure.
not a good song.
You think it is?
I gotta go back and listen to it.
It's so cheesy, dude. It's literally them doing a new wave song, and they called it Blink Wave.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, that is fucking stupid for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'll go back and listen to it.
No, don't.
Yeah, we're telling you not to.
But I need to. You know what I mean?
You got to know for yourself.
Yeah.
Tallest Man on Earth at 42. It's like his first full band album. That was tight. He was getting kind of boring just being a one-man show. So giving him a full rounded band experience was good.
Does this go all the way to number 1?
No, we're just gonna stop here in a few. Yeah, it goes to 1. What do you mean?
Crazy.
We're not stopping at all of them, but you getting bored over there, Ben?
It's my own fault. I have everything to fucking say about it.
Tell us about Chris Stapleton. What was your segue there?
The year that you actually listened to
No segue. I was just hoping you guys had something to say.
No.
I was hoping you guys listened to him. So
you don't have an opinion. You were just coming to us for Chris Stapleton and opinions.
No, he's good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What's his Rotten Tomatoes score?
That's a good question.
I think recently the critics have been shitting on him because he's getting popularity.
I can't believe he got married to Gwen Stefani. That's crazy.
Chris Stapleton?
Didn't he?
Are you thinking of Blake Shelton?
I don't. They're all the same.
No, not even close.
All right.
Oh man.
Where do we pick up?
I don't know.
40. Mike. Have you ever listened to him before? Burning Desire.
No.
He's pretty wild.
Yeah.
There's like a nice little group of underground, like grimy hip hop artists going right now, and he's got a nice little flow going. Cool. That one track he did with Earl Sweatshirt on this record is so fucking good. It's like one of my favorite songs of the year. Oh, what's it called?
Please Don't Cut My Wings.
That's it. So good.
Sick. I'm gonna check this out. So like grimy hip hop, is it like?
I'd say he's Billy Woods adjacent.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like lyrically and like flow wise.
Just the strange flow. Yeah.
Okay. It does sound like Billy Woods.
Yeah.
Like pretty immediately.
And yeah, he does a song with Earl Sweatshirt, so that kind of gives you a taste.
Yeah,
Nice.
It sounds like Billy Woods for sure.
Yeah.
31, Profane Order. There we got a good heavy record.
Mm-hmm.
Did you like that one?
I did. Yeah.
I thought that was tight.
Did we go through every shitty tier? Like every person in the shitty tier?
No.
Okay.
That's what we said. We're not doing every
always-
single one.
Okay, I didn't know, man.
People got to check the website for the full.
You can get the
list.
whole dirty.
Gotcha.
This is just the highlights.
Okay.
But yeah, Profane Order was good.
Yeah.
I really liked that.
Mm-hmm.
Some solid aggressive music this year.
Kind of short, like kind of brief. 7 songs, 25 minutes.
Yeah.
But it was solid.
It was effective.
Yeah. I think that's a good way to put it. Like, that was another thing with metal this year is even the stuff that was good just wasn't like, oh, wow, I've never heard this before.
Yeah.
It was more like, all right, great. You did it. You made another good metal record.
Right.
But, yeah, I'm into it.
That one, we skipped over it. Was that 39? Black Tar by Scalp. Those two were both really solid, really short, just like pounding hardcore records that are just so brief and so good that I would just listen to like on repeat. Like, okay, last song, let's go again.
Oh, yeah? Nice.
Telos by Delude. That was another good proggy metal record.
Oh, really?
We got that at like 29. Yeah, right ahead of Fiddlehead. They're at 30.
Well, I'm going to check that out then.
Yeah, that one was really tight. I think that's one of our highest metal records on the list.
Definitely, yeah. We don't have too much metal left.
No, we're getting to the nitty gritty.
Mm-hmm.
28, Black Thought did another collaborative album. No Danger Mouse this time. He's teaming up with L. Michaels Affair, I think is what it's called.
Oh, yeah? I don't know how to pronounce that.
Yeah.
I didn't really know what that was.
Yeah, I've never heard of him before, but record's really good, really smooth samples.
For sure.
Could have done with like a little longer songs. Sometimes felt a little short, but really super smooth production.
Yeah, definitely like one of my favorite hip hop albums of the year. I think you've got it in a good place here because kind of like what I was just saying about metal albums, like it does the job, you know, it completes the assignment of making a good hip hop record. It didn't like blow my mind really, but it was one of the few hip hop records this year where I was like singing along to the hooks and stuff and like got stuck in my head like after one listen, you know. Yeah,
there's a couple Glorious Game, there's a couple really good singles on there that I've been going back to.
Yep.
The Wailer, Home Is Where, I got at 22. That one's grown on me. Like I feel like I've overlooked the shortcomings and like the highlights have won out where I'm revisiting it a lot more than I thought I would be.
I'm glad. I mean, you loved the record before this, so I'm glad that you like it a bit more.
The opposite has happened with Olivia Rodrigo.
Wait. Before that, dude, Shame put out one of my favorite albums this year.
Yeah, I like it.
This is like top 5 for me.
That one was tight.
Yeah, I keep coming back to it. It's got such a good variety.
Who is it?
You know,
Shame.
Yeah, they're great, man. I don't even know what to call them. Just like a rock band.
It's like post-punk, indie rock.
Yeah.
It's a little more.
I guess it is kind of punky.
Yeah.
Shame.
Yeah.
But
they're sick, dude. I feel like every song stands on its own, and it doesn't feel like, at least so far, this band doesn't feel like the type of band where I'd be like, oh, that sounds like a Shame song.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And it also doesn't feel like they're just pulling other ideas from other places, like in an obvious fashion, where you're like, oh, I want to write a song like this. It's like a great variety of stuff that dips into a lot of different categories. So I'm into this band. I'm excited for whatever they do next.
I keep going back and forth because I think when I first listened to it, Adderall was my favorite track, like the big ballad. That one hits really good, but Fingers of Steel, the opening track, is really good too.
That's my favorite.
And then Orchid's really good, where they get a little heavier.
Is that the second song?
I think that's near the end.
Dang it, sorry. Six Pack, the one where he's talking about the room where like all your dreams come true. Yeah. I thought that was so funny.
That's like the disco-y one, isn't it? With the weird like dance beat.
It's a little more. It's kind of almost like a
psych rock.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it. Yeah. He says something about like your ex-wife and ex-daughter who hate your guts, they love you in this room, and just goes on, and by the end of the song he's like, now you got a six-pack, now you got a tan. I'm like, God, dude, I don't know what this is, but I fucking love it.
It's solid. It's really good.
Yeah.
We got that at 21. Yeah, like I was saying,
now we can
Olivia Rodrigo has grown off me.
This
record, where I think the highlights really stood out the first time I listened to it, and the more I keep hearing the singles and like TV commercials and stuff, I'm like, I don't want to fucking hear this anymore.
I've been hearing the singles a lot at work.
The first time in like a long time, because I don't listen to regular like radio or MTV, where like a pop album is just like, God, this is fucking everywhere. I'm so tired of it.
I was inundated with it immediately.
Yeah.
And I knew that I would be even before we reviewed it. I was like, oh, this Bloodsucker song, like I'm going to be hearing this. And then not even like putting two and two together that I work at a college radio station. And so, I mean, I went into work the next day and I heard that song like 3 times. So I wasn't like super high on it to begin with. And I honestly didn't think that you were. So now it's like slid.
Yeah.
Would you, if you were making this list now, would she still be
even this high?
Yeah.
Probably, because there are a couple songs that I really like.
Yeah.
Like it's this weird
really
thing.
Catchy. And like the hits, if I hadn't heard them so much, I would still think they were pretty great.
Yeah. I feel like it's unfair to judge somebody based on the saturation of their output. You know? Like in a vacuum, there are some songs that are really good here.
Yeah.
It's like the Taylor Swift phenomenon. Like her on herself, she's fine, but her overzealous fans just make you kind of like, that's
it's so
a lot.
Hard for me to separate. Yeah.
Yeah.
The hype stuff really ruins stuff for me.
Yeah, and it's weird that like, I don't know, we really don't deal with that a lot or as much as we used to. But this one has like seemed to hit mass appeal in a way that nothing has in a while.
Yeah.
That's never bothered me. Any of that stuff. Like,
that's cool.
When bands get like overplayed on the radio, people, they always say, I can't listen to them anymore. Like, I liked it before it blew up. I don't really care.
Yeah.
Doesn't really bother me, I guess.
I don't know. I should assess what it is that bothers me so much about it, because I don't like being like a gatekeeper, and I don't feel the need to be contrarian.
Yep.
But there is something, like I've still never seen that fucking Toy Story movie that everyone lost their shit about.
The first one?
No.
No, it was like the third one.
Oh, okay.
There was even a South Park episode where like people were like getting so offended at each other for not having seen the Toy Story. It was like 3 or 4 or something. Where it was just like, everyone just had an emotional breakdown over that movie, and I was like, fuck off.
I mean, I think there is something to say, though, for, like, a song that you can hear a million times and still be like, yeah, this still whips ass.
Yeah, for sure.
There's no song that exists for me like that.
What?
Yeah.
Have you heard Possum Kingdom by the Toadies? Because that's the song. That is it. That's the one.
We'll maybe listen to that after this or something. Yeah, I haven't found that song yet. You could play my favorite song for me like for a whole day.
Yeah.
And I will hate that song by the end of the day.
Okay, a whole day though. That's
pretty much like torture.
Yeah, that is
okay, but like
torture.
once a day for a month.
But the radio is honestly like torture for me sometimes. I used to work at a place where they just played Rock 104 all the fucking time. And I swear to God, that station only plays 30 songs.
In the whole breadth of classic music, they play the same 6 Led Zeppelin songs and the same 6 Pink Floyd songs.
And they're like, oh, this is the Beatles, the best band of all time. Here's Come Together for the 50th time today.
Yeah.
Play another song of theirs, dude. What are you doing?
The worst is there's this radio station, I think it finally went off the air, but it was locally. It was called The 20. And all they played was the top 20 songs for that day over and over again. Like, that was their promotional.
Dude, in season 2 of Patriot, John gets captured and he gets fucking tortured. And his torture is in this box with this guy, and they just play
Livin' La Vida Loca?
American Pie every, like, over and over on repeat. It stops for, like, 5 minutes so they can have a conversation. Yeah. And it starts again. He was in there for, like, a couple days.
Yeah, I wouldn't last long with that.
Yeah.
Any song.
All right, moving on from Patriot. 19. I just heard this one a couple weeks ago. I texted you about it. Bobbing. It is really weird, cool electronic. I think kind of the same way we saw metal kind of hit a rut. I feel like we're starting to get that way with synthwave stuff where everybody's used the same patches. Yeah. We've heard the same stuff brought back to the forefront.
Right.
But this is really different. This is like a weird, like, hyper pop Sonic the Hedgehog soundtrack with like weird choruses.
I love that.
It's all over the place, man. I really like this.
The artwork is sick too. It looks like Mobius.
Yeah, it's like a weird hand-drawn PC game from the 90s.
I remember seeing this. I think I might have listened to a few songs, but
yeah. Oh, I think that was the one where you said, yeah, I think I recognize the guitar squeal from Toxic from Britney Spears.
Dude, they totally use Britney Spears' Toxic melody in a guitar riff in the solo. Yeah, I did listen to some of this. It rips. Yeah.
18, we got Jeff Rosenstock, Hell Mode.
Yes.
Solid record.
Yeah, I love that one.
17, I think, is our highest ranking metal record. Marduk.
Yeah.
Our second album name, Memento Mori. This one is significantly better than the Depeche Mode record we talked about 100 entries ago.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It's Marduk being Marduk, but like there's nothing wrong with that, you know. It wasn't breaking new ground for me, but this is one of my favorite black metal bands. It's one of a lot of people's favorite black metal bands. I mean, they're like up there with Funeral Mist as far as like just the heavy hitters in that genre. But yeah, what'd you think?
I really liked it. I thought they did kind of do some new stuff with some of the slower tracks.
Yeah.
But I'm not super well versed in them, so maybe it's stuff that I just haven't heard before. But like, yeah, the closer I thought was really cool. The way they were just super, I don't know. They're usually really hyperactive with like percussion and stuff, and this was just really singular and pounding, and it somehow like hit even harder.
Yeah, yeah.
Which I thought was really well done.
Mm-hmm. I'm surprised Danny Brown is so high up.
Yeah? Did you not like this record?
I didn't listen to it.
Ah, shoot.
But
fucking like Danny Brown, dude.
I love Danny Brown.
like Danny Brown.
No, you don't.
But like,
I do.
Since when?
You're in for a surprise, bud.
Since when did you like Danny Brown?
I've liked him for a while.
Have you?
Yeah. Yeah. No,
I just like a whole album of just Danny Brown is not something I've been interested in.
Can't that voice, man.
Well, he doesn't do it on this record.
Oh, he doesn't?
What does he do?
He's like a regular, like, talky rap voice.
No
like,
shit.
He does it a little bit. It's literally almost like an every other song thing, where like he does like a really subdued, toned down opener, and then he has like the screechy voice on like 2, 4, and 6.
So that's always just been like kind of an affectation.
I think so, yeah. And so like this is a follow-up. This is a follow-up to Triple X he made a decade ago when he turned 30. This is Quaranta, him turning 40, and like,
oh, I didn't know he was that old either.
It's super reflective, it's super introspective. Like, I would not expect this coming from the dude who's like all about nasty sex rap.
Yeah,
and, like,
I'm pretty sure he used to be like homeless and shit.
Yeah,
like
for
he
sure.
was. My old roommate Devin was like a fan of him like 10 years ago.
Yeah,
like you got to listen to this
Triple
guy.
X, yeah.
And I was like, it's so fucking goofy, dude. I cannot. Like no.
But yeah, I think this is his best solo record, honestly, which
That's
is
cool.
cool. Like, it's very rare that you see a rapper mature this late into their career and hit their stride at fucking 40. Like, I was really impressed with it. I really liked it.
Awesome.
I feel like any artist who's tenured,
seriously,
to like,
come 40 years old.
15, we got Chris Farron, Doom Singer. I love his lyrics. Like, there's some goofy songs on this record, but the good stuff just really fucking hits. We've got Chris and Jeff both here in the teens, and I just wish they would make another Antarctico Vespucci record together so bad, because I feel like if you combine their two records, it's like completing the other one. You know, they're both so good on their own, but if you take the highlights of each of those, I feel like they would just complement each other in the best way. But they're both very good. I'd say that's probably the best solo Chris Farron record I've heard too. But I really like that one.
Same.
Strange Ranger, that's probably one of the better electronic records I've heard this year.
That's a good one.
Some of the lyrics are a little corny, but the synth pads were really fucking good.
For sure.
13, we got MS Paint. This is the one record you listened to, Ben.
It was so good.
Approve of their 13th placement?
No, probably number one.
Number one of
I haven't
one?
Heard the others.
Number one of one.
Number one of one.
It's the best and worst record you listened to this year.
I'm excited, dude. That's cool. I mean, the instruments in that thing are so fucking cool.
Yeah, like, I just love that they're just like, fuck guitar. We're just gonna use a synthesizer.
And the cinematic breakdowns are fucking awesome.
They've probably got like the most potential of most of the bands on here. I don't know if any, but I'm really, really excited for their follow-up almost more than anybody else.
Yeah, as far as like the hardcore resurgence we've been talking about, this is one of the few bands where it doesn't feel like they're doing an impression or
it's new,
discovering hardcore for the first time. It feels like people that grew up with this shit and have a take on it.
Yep. It's cool as fuck, man. I mean, I kept seeing Gray say, you know, best fucking band out there, best band out there, band out there. And he was like standing by this like consistently. So I was like, I'm gonna have to check them out. It's like, yeah, they're fucking sick.
Yeah, he's right.
12, we got the Kesha record.
Yeah, did we talk about that?
Pretty high up there. I think
high up there.
A little bit. Yeah.
Higher than MS Paint.
Yeah, right above him.
It's good, dude.
It's super good.
Really.
Yeah, I think the only thing I wanted to add to that is we talked about how well the production was done by Rick Rubin.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's in such a complimentary way. Like, he does such really interesting electronic stuff, but she still gets to be like front and center. Like, it's such a good creative partnership between the two.
Yeah.
And I still can't believe you haven't heard TikTok. There's no way you have not heard that.
I think he's trolling us, dude.
No. Listen, guys. I listened to it after we had that whole fight. And I'd never heard that fucking song.
There's no way.
There's no fucking way.
Yeah, dude.
He's doing that thing.
Were you in a coma in 2012?
Dude, maybe, because I was like, all right, here we go. I know I've heard this before. And I listened to it. I was like,
nothing.
He's doing that thing when I talk about Patriot. You talk about that Mel Gibson movie.
No, I'm not doing a bit.
He's dead serious.
You're doing a great bit. It's extraordinary.
But yeah, this is the best Kesha stuff for sure. From
That's crazy.
Party Girl Anthem to like very earnest, candid songwriting.
That song sucked. Like, when I listened to it, I was like, I've never heard this before, but it's bad. So I'm glad that Gag Order exists.
For sure.
Yeah, she's very good.
And then 10, we got Field Medic.
Here we go.
Light is Gone too.
Yeah.
That one, I think I had more of a visceral reaction when I first listened to it. Where I'm like, I wanted more.
Yeah.
And then I realized I've probably listened to those first like 5 songs more than any other songs this year. And I'm like, I love this. I don't know why I'm trying to tell myself otherwise.
It's funny too, because you said that it felt, well, actually, I think we both said it felt short, but I think it's just as long as Grow Your Hair Long, or it's close to it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard not to be like more biased after talking about it and getting some insight into his thought process. And we've been talking this whole time about like, I sound so different now. How do I get back to that original like sound?
Yeah.
But Field Medic didn't try to do that wisely. It was like, I'm not going to try to get back to that sound. I'm just going to try to get back to that fun, that like excitement, and like have fun doing this. And like, he came up with something really cool by doing that, as opposed to trying to like rehash one of his old records.
Right.
So.
It was a really creative way to like recapture that exploration of like making your first song without trying to imitate it.
And that's what it sounds like. Like I'm pretty sure we said on the show that it sounded like he was having a lot of fun, like exploring new ideas, and that's what happened. I was like, oh man, it's really cool to kind of have that validation of like, yeah, that is what we were hearing, you know.
For sure. Yeah, it was solid. What's your favorite track on it? Because I think at first it was That Shit Is Over Now, and then I went to They All Seem So Happy, and now I'm on Everything's Been Going So Well.
What's the one with the 7-Eleven line?
That Shit Is Over Now. That one, it's such just a bouncy pop song, like out of nowhere.
Yeah.
After that like super somber banjo opening, and then you just go straight into this electronic, like sounds like something from like a Taco Bell commercial or something, but in the best way.
Yeah. I love those lyrics too.
Right. Oh yeah. All right, so we're on to the best. These are the best of the best. Top tier. What did we call the top tier? Fuck. I've got too many tabs open.
We've only got 9 of them.
Yeah, only 9. These are the elite. The best of the best is... Oh, the Black Jackets.
The fuck?
Which I don't think anyone else watches Hell's Kitchen, so that's just a me thing. They give Black Jackets to the best chefs at the end of Hell's Kitchen every season. Okay. So these are the Black Jackets. Number 9, Indigo D'Souza. Yeah. All of This Will End. That record really grew on me. At first, I wasn't sure, but again, like the songs that slap just really fucking hit.
Yeah.
And it's got such a terrible opener. The first song is the worst, and like I think that's what took me so long to get over.
Yeah.
But every other song's great.
No, it honestly, I would recommend anyone interested in checking out this album, like. I don't want to say skip the first like 4 songs, but maybe
the first one for sure.
Yeah, the first one for sure, but like it doesn't give you a good idea of what the band is or what the actually I don't know if this is a solo artist or a band, but whatever. There's so much deeper stuff later on the album. It really stretches out and covers new territory, where at first I just thought it was kind of just like basic indie rock, like indie pop rock stuff.
Yeah.
But it gets, by like song 5 or 6, there's like this really interesting like dance beat sort of.
Yeah.
And that's the point where I was like, it started getting way more interesting. And
the stretch from 4 to 6 is like where it gets in. Wasting Your Time, Parking Lot, All of This Will End. Those 3 are all incredible songs.
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, it's a sequencing issue for sure, but there's some awesome stuff.
Or maybe not even that, but just like, because it's a different style at that point, you know, whereas I felt like the first few songs are consistent, and that's what was so confusing to me, is it really felt like maybe just those were songs written early in the writing process, and then
it could have been left over from the last record,
that too.
Whatever. 8, we got Billy Woods and Kenny Siegel. Maps. Year Zero is like my song of the year. I love that track, but didn't quite live up to Hiding Places. I think that's my Billy Woods number 1. Yeah. So it was a little down from that, but still great.
Still great.
Billy Woods is always great. 7, I got Foo Fighters, which I think I'm on an island here. Nobody else wanted Foo Fighters this high.
Right.
Island.
This is another one you heard, Ben, right?
Do you want to talk? Popcorn Ben?
I heard a song.
You heard a song.
You heard a song.
I heard a couple. Yeah. You're on an island.
Yeah.
I think he's still right about it being the most solid, but I think that's because Foo Fighters has always been a singles band.
Yeah.
And I still, none of the singles on this really cut it for me.
Yeah.
But I'm not offended by it. I'm cooler on it than I was to begin with.
It's more of a Keenan for you.
Probably more of a Keenan for me.
Yeah. We got Kixie at 6.
Hell yeah, dude.
Fuck is Kixie.
Don't even.
Fuck is Kixie.
You take that back, dude.
I mean it though.
Kixie's our friend.
She was great. She was on the show.
Was she?
Yeah.
Thanks for the fucking invite. You guys go to see Fiddlehead. You go see fucking Kixie.
Ryan asked you. I remember.
He didn't ask me to go see Fiddlehead.
No, but
he asked me to go see Kixie.
Hang on.
Or talk to Kixie.
Fiddlehead was complicated because.
Oh, was it?
That was affected by the strike as well.
Yeah,
there's a lot of strike.
Actually.
I wasn't affected by no strike.
Ryan wasn't even gonna go. It was gonna be me, Matt, and our friend Dylan, and then Dylan had to bail last minute, so Matt asked Ryan.
Oh, you were an afterthought.
I
Sucks.
was. I got a free ticket.
I wasn't even any thought.
Yeah, you were a no thought.
I was a no thought. Anyway, glad you guys enjoyed Fiddlehead.
But yeah, and I remember the text where Ryan said, "Do either of you want to join me for the Kixie interview?"
I didn't know who Kixie was. Still don't.
You said yes. I remember you saying yes.
You wanted to be on the interview, and you don't even know what's.
Nope.
You're denying it.
No, I'm
gonna find
sure.
it,
I'll
dude.
deny. That sounds better. I think that makes me look better if I deny all of it.
She's good. It's a great record. I really like it.
Yeah.
In all seriousness, yeah.
Kixie.
Like,
Solid hooks.
bias aside, this is
Kixie.
someone
cool.
that should be getting a lot more attention right now.
I had
you
her
know?
top tier before we interviewed her. That just
There you
solidified
go.
the placement.
Yeah, and I've been listening. This was another one because this came out early in the year. I think we've been listening to this for a while.
Summer. It was definitely summer anthem vibes.
Like, is it spelled exactly how you think?
How do you think?
Kick XIE.
No. It's not how you think.
ZIE.
No. Kick SIE.
Oh yeah. No way. I would have thought that.
But yeah, it's impressive, just like the range of all the instrumentation, knowing that she's laying this out by herself and running it through a band now. I think that just adds a little more appreciation to it from my viewpoint.
For sure.
But
Yeah.
yeah, there's some really, really good tracks on here. Yeah, that's probably like the biggest new band I found this year.
I think I'm gonna listen to Kixie and Shame when I get out of here.
You should.
Hell
The way
yeah.
you guys talked about Shame,
Yeah.
Like, Shame's solid.
had me really interested.
Cool.
And we got a 2K23 Spotify playlist highlighting all the best songs of all these artists.
Perfect.
If you've got a Spotify and don't want to listen to ads. So that's out there. 5, Spanish love songs. I wasn't really big on this band with their last record. It kind of just sounded like a Menzinger's ripoff, but they went full like new wave with this one.
Yeah.
Super into it. We already talked about this
Blink
one.
Wave.
Yeah, Blink
a
Wave
Blink Wave.
record.
They were inspired by Blink Wave.
Yeah. Everybody's just trying to be Blink Wave.
Depeche Mode.
Yeah. Homefront, another 80s
There
band.
you go. Trying to be Blink
Throwback.
Wave, dude.
They're at 4. Game of Power.
Wow.
So yeah, let's just get to the top 3. We'll end this off.
okay.
We've been talking long enough. Number 3, 100 Gex.
Yep.
Dumbest Girl Alive, Hollywood Baby.
I listened to that one.
This record's
Yeah.
hilarious.
It's
dude.
so good. It's
is
so dumb and it's so funny, but it's also authentically really well made. Like it's all the things. I
did
love it.
listen to that.
It's got bops, Cheetos, Fritos, Doritos, burritos, everything you want.
Yeah, it's a great record. What did you think of it, Ben?
I liked it a lot. Yeah.
Good.
2, we got Mitski, which I've never listened to
Yeah.
her before. Was a late entry on the list just because I kept seeing it get praise everywhere. So I was like, I'll check
Yeah.
it out.
Right.
But it's another one that really scratches that like country flourish of indie singer-songwriter.
Yeah.
And such good lyrics. Like this
Yeah.
one I've been coming to quite a bit. I really, really enjoyed it. I've not listened to any of her other stuff. I need to change
Same.
that. But this
Yeah.
was great.
I hadn't heard of Mitski until this year, but yeah, this feels like one of the maybe the most complete album of the year for me.
Yeah.
Like listen to it front to back because you should. Like there's just a good amount of variety, but it knows exactly what it is. It feels experimental to me in a way that like I just don't feel like popular bands are anymore, where it is dipping out of like traditional song structure, but not in an annoying way. Like we've gotten annoyed with bands this year for just like writing half a song and then doing something weird for the other half. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
This doesn't do that. It knows how to drop out, do something strange, and then like come back to to make a complete song.
It's a lot more cohesive.
It is very cohesive, yeah. So I mean this reminds me of stuff that I used to listen to. I feel like there used to be bands that were like this that could put this stuff together, and I don't feel like there are as many bands trying to do this as much anymore. Maybe it's because our attention span has shortened, but yeah, this whole album is just so cohesive.
And it's like super deep, like the lyrics and everything, but it doesn't It's not overly long either. It's all really bite-sized. Like every song is like 2-3 minutes long.
Yeah,
it's this like really well-balanced mixture of like heavy content, but in a really digestible size.
Yeah, it somehow avoids being pretentious, where I feel like a lot of bands like this would be.
For sure.
Yeah, it just doesn't feel that way.
And then number one,
and here it is, like against all odds.
Instant classic.
Yeah, it was, dude. I mean,
from the second I heard it, it was the best song of the year.
Against all odds?
There's never been a doubt in my mind. Danny Brown and JPEG Mafia, Scaring the Hoes.
Album of the year, Ben, is Danny Brown.
It's so good.
Get the fuck out of here. No.
We're dead serious, dude.
It is insanely
good. Do you agree
good.
with this?
Yeah, I really do. And I'm surprised. I thought that we
really.
Like I thought it would have crept down.
Yeah.
To like number 10 by now or something.
Yeah,
I don't know. It just doesn't. I mean,
you didn't think it had staying power, or like we'd kind of.
I don't know what it
grow tired of it.
Maybe it's just because it came out early in the year and surprised me. And yeah, I guess I didn't expect like my favorite and most listened to album of the year to be something that Danny Brown was heavily featured on. Like,
yeah.
I like Danny Brown, but yeah, like I said, I haven't listened to a whole record of his besides this. But it works because like I think JPEG Mafia is kind of genius as a producer and decent as a rapper too. But it was nice having Danny Brown around too, who I like a little more as a lyricist and a rapper. It's a great combination. It's just punk as fuck. And I love that. Like JPEG Mafia just nails the punk hip hop stuff, like in a way that the only other people I could even argue would handle it as well as Death Grips. You know?
I mean, we talked about supergroups. This is it. This is the supergroup, right?
Hell yeah!
I mean,
it is.
They get the most out of each other. Like you said, I've listened to JPEG Mafia albums in the past and was like, the production's good, but it's missing something.
Right.
And together they complement each other just so fucking well. Yeah. It's great.
I'm still gonna be chasing these production techniques for like another couple years. Like it's just
it's stellar.
It's phenomenal.
Cool.
So yeah, that's album of the year. We've got 2 more episodes. Airing of Grievances is coming out in December, and then we'll do Year in Tears, best movies of the year in January. So give us your grievances. That'll be coming up next.
How do people do that?
You can do it a bevy of ways. You can send them to us on Instagram. You can send it to us at anchor.fm/X, the video store X, and leave us a voicemail that we can actually play on the show if you want to do that.
Please do that.
We can, So just be petty, funny.
But not hurtful towards me.
Especially hurtful towards Ben, please. It can be anything. Pop culture, entertainment, music, movies, whatever. Give us your grievances. Instagram, Twitter, X. We've got a contact form on the website. However you want to get them to us, you'll find a way. Life finds a way.
I recommend Jury Duty.
We're doing recommendations.
Jumping into recommendations.
You're always like 4 months behind.
I know.
You like Jury Duty.
I liked it, yeah.
You're recommending my recommendation from 4 months ago.
Yup. It's fucking good.
It is good, right?
Yeah, the obviously you know who the guy is the whole time. That's not really the point of it.
We're out of time, so
For more, visit internetkilledthevideostore.com.